like, politicers who would then like politic against themselves or whatever, and you're like, guy, what are you doing? Can you just like, play the game?
Hey guys, we're live. Instead of doing an intro where it's just me talking about it, we got Cyrus in here. So I love that. It's few and far between when I get Cyrus out here, when we're on like the same screen at the same time. That's a big deal. So as y'all know, we are going to Okotoberfest, and we are both going to be there in person, which is a big deal. This is something that happened once. we've met it's twice now. Marquesa, Command Fest Bellevue, and this will be the third time that the whole Mental Misplay duo will be in the same place at the same time. So I'm super pumped about that. It's going to be a big cEDH tournament, and there's going to be side events and panels and all sorts of good stuff, and we're going to be there all weekend. So if you're coming, put some stuff in the comments. Say hey, say how you doing, and if you see us there, come see us, and maybe we just high five. Maybe if we're super lucky, we get games in. Maybe I get a game in with Cyrus. I hope so. But how 1 to 10? How pumped are you? How stoked are you, Cyrus?
I'm like a solid 8.5 or so for the cEDH event, and a full on 10 for the Popper side event. I've been dying to play IRL Popper games for so long, so super stoked on that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's on Sunday, right? The Popper side event?
Yeah, so as long as I don't make day 2, I'm fine.
I love the idea of like planning on not making day 2 is amazing. So I'm rooting for you though. I hope you take the whole cEDH tournament. I hope Toxroll takes it down.
Yeah, it would be like, that's a great worst case scenario to have, is that I somehow make it to day 2, but I don't know.
Poor me, I can't play Pauper because I'm winning so hard. Like, So you were thinking about playing Toxrill in the cEDH event, correct?
Yeah, I went back and forth for a long time. I still might be going back and forth a little bit in my head, but I'm pretty much solidly on Toxrill just because I've been playing it for however long it's existed, and I know it really well. I think the list is in a good spot right now. Playing Control and playing 2 colors are both a little iffy, but like overall, I think going in with the deck that I know the best is going to make it more enjoyable than going in with a deck that I think is maybe slightly better, but I don't know as well, and I end up losing because I'm sitting there not knowing my deck.
Yeah, I think that's the best plan. That's why I went in to Marquesa playing Marin, and I went into Tier 1 playing Dalsum, but at that point I had been jamming it for like 3 months straight and kind of knew the play patterns and all that stuff. I think now I'd stand a much better chance running Dalsum in this, but I'm not trying to play the main event at all because I'm going to be running around interviewing people, and I've learned the very, very hard way that if I'm going to be running around interviewing people, I need to have downtime. I need to be able to like catch a breather while games are happening, and like then once people start to stand up, I can start to stand up and run around and talk to them and stuff. So yeah, we're going to be doing the same thing that we've been doing, which is making a video for Moxfield, like a tournament coverage video. And I think because there's one tournament going on at this one, it's going to be a lot easier to track like who the favorites are, what the stats are, all that sort of stuff. So I'll also be working a little bit closer with the Libby and the tournament staff as well to kind of gauge like, okay, who should I go talk to right now? Who's in the lead? Who's like, I'm going to be like tuned in and watching the stats a little more. The one thing I wanted to ask you is with Toxrill, are there any new additions? Are there any new cards that you've been looking at? Is there any new tricks besides like, I don't know, are you running an offer you can't refuse or any of that type of shit?
I've been messing with the list kind of a lot. I like to go in and tinker with it. Once or twice a month I'll go in and mess with things. So the newest thing that's actually in, I think, is a swamp. Is the latest addition that I made was
classic.
Removing something to go up to 29 lands because it's Control, and I feel like I'm almost always happy to hit more lands with Toxrill.
Yeah, of course.
Being able to land, because Toxrill
29 lands. What?
I know, going up
secret
to 20.
tag.
Yeah, pushing the envelope. I've got a 7-drop commander, and They usually die at least once, so it's like a 9-drop commander, and I like to have 2 or 3 padding mana over the top of the cost of Toxtrol,
Control
so that
mana.
it can actually survive a turn rotation.
Yep.
So I'd say in that vein, like I think the newest card printing wise is March of Swirling Mist.
Yep, that's an easy one.
Yeah, it's just so good. So good for getting around hate bears and stacks and stuff. I had put Cut Down in, didn't like it, so that came back out.
Are you on Dress Down?
I do run Dress Down. Yeah, Dress Down's really good too. And one of the newer additions that kind of changed the way the deck works more than just like a swamp or a removal piece is Counterbalance, based mainly on a video that Rebell made that I watched actually while we were at Command Fest Bellevue. That was about using permanents to like bolster your ability to control the table instead of just running like a huge amount of instants. So Counterbalance gives it this sort of longer term control, like ability to control the game longer. So and I put Vohar in because I had built a Vohar deck and I just wasn't really feeling playing Vohar as its own card.
Remind me what Vohar is. That the trash man? Is that
maybe
is that the garbage guy?
A Phyrexian Merfolk wizard that you can tap, draw a card, then discard a card, or you can pay 2 and sacrifice it to target an instant or sorcery, and you can play it this turn.
Oh, is that the that's from Dominaria?
Yeah, so I think it's actually
okay. There you go, Vohar's cool.
Yeah, and it just kind of is like the deck has a lot of these like ways to just draw 1 card a turn kind of things, because I was trying to, you go up against like a Tim to Crom or Tim to anything, Dalsum even, and you're like, Jesus, everyone's drawing so many cards. Like, how can I? And I'm blue-black, like I should be able to draw that many cards too.
Yeah, for sure.
I just wanted to I added in like Ledger Shredders in there now.
Oh, nice.
Vohar for that draw to Fairy Master of Time, which is a card that I slept on forever and is just so good.
That's the 4-drop mono blue one that lets you loot every turn, correct?
Yeah, and loot, and then the phase out that you can do also.
It's sick too.
It's so nuts. Just sit there and be like,
God forbid you get 2 extra turns.
Yeah, totally. No, it's a wild card. It has brought all sorts of value to.
I got one.
Deck. So
got one right here on the desk. Just chilling. Yep. Yep. That's a deck. That's a card that I put in a lot of casual decks. If I'm running blue, I'm like, let's slot that shit in there. Like, it's just everything he does is value. It's all value in that card. And the rummage 4 times in a rotation is obscene. Or not rummage, but loot. Loot 4 times in a rotation is absolutely bonkers. So
yeah,
cool.
A part of me, I want to maybe before the tournament get Reanimate back in here, because it doesn't come up that often, but I am looting a lot, and I do have Hullbreaker Horror in the deck.
Oh, nice. What are you running in Pauper? If you make it to the Pauper game, what's the deck?
There's at least 3 choices on the table. I'm not sure which one I want to run. I started pulling cards for Affinity last night.
Caveat or preface, I have no clue what any of the Pauper decks are. So if you want to explain very briefly what they are, that would probably help also.
Yeah, so Affinity, it's kind of it plays like Grixis mid-range basically in Pauper. It's just like Grixis good stuff, plus all your creatures are freaking free, and you can just like return them from the grave a bunch with Blood Fountain.
All right.
So very resilient, fast. It just kind of does it all. It's like definitely considered a top tier deck in the format. I just haven't played it that much, but I used to play it a lot pre-banning, so I am familiar enough with the deck. It just plays a little differently now, because it used to be kind of more like a combat combo kind of thing.
Okay.
The other deck I've been playing a bunch is this Boros. What is that card? Experimental Synthesizer deck.
Okay.
That it's basically synthesizer as your like card advantage engine, and Glinthawk and Core Skyfisher, who both bounce permanents to your hand when you play them.
All right.
So you're playing Synthesizer, exile a card, playing the Glinthawk, picking it up, exiling another card. And so it just feels like you end up playing so many cards out of exile that your hand is just like always full too.
Oh,
And
awesome.
so it's a cool, like kind of mid-rangey also combat deck that for Boros has just like an insane amount of card advantage. And the last one that I'm thinking of seriously is Elves. And
Oh, nice.
it's just Elves.
All
Pauper
the-
Elves it's great. I love
the
it
good
so
ones.
much because just like, yeah, as long as you have one land in your opening hand, you're pretty much good to go. And you just play Priest Titanian Quirion Ranger and make 1,000,000 mana and play 1,000,000 other guys and use a bunch of the like lead the Stampede type cards, which usually is like a 3-mana draw 5.
Oh, okay, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Elves is super good.
It's the one I've been playing the most too
Yep.
recently, so that's why it's kind of the it might be the top pick right now, but I don't know. Those are the 3 major in the running.
No, it sounds like a blast, honestly. So hopefully you get to play it and you crush Face in it. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I was talking with them about running my cube as a side event, but I don't know if that ever got fully fleshed out. So I think I'm gonna try to run it at some point, probably on Sunday or who knows. I want to do that, but also like with there being so much coverage I have to do, like it might just be like a nighttime only thing, like who knows. But I know that there's a lot of people there who are excited to play it for sure.
I would love to run it again. It would
Yeah.
be a great like Saturday night. Saturday night to me is like when I'll be the most burned out on Commander games probably.
Yeah.
So I'll be super down for some crazy cube games.
And then there's a panel that I'm on as well. So I'm gonna be moderating a like Commander community panel with Ian and Rebel and Beth as well. So I'm really excited about that. That should be a lot of fun. It's been a while since I did anything like that. So being live I don't think I've ever live moderated a panel. So that's going to be pretty wild for sure. So I'm definitely going to be wrecked by the time this is over for sure. But I'm really excited I'm glad we're staying like at the location where the thing's at also. That's really good that we're going to.
Me too. It actually, yeah, I'm really stoked for the just kind of like I'm sure I'll leave the hotel at some point, but I like that I technically don't have to.
Yep, that we're just
all
be there.
self-contained.
I didn't check if they've got a pool and or a hot tub. That's going to be the next thing is to check. So let's see how much hot tub time I can get. We got like a minute and a half left here. I want to talk really quick. Are there any decks that you are watching out for in the main event? Anything that you think is going to be a problem or any spicy new shit that you think you're going to see? I know people are talking about Tivit Time Civ, which is a big one. And I think Winota is going to be a staple. That's something we saw talked about a fair amount. And then your standard 4-color piles. Are there any things that you think you're gonna see like out of left field, or any people to watch out for as well?
I mean, all the regular players. I feel like I'm always terrified of getting matched up with, just the mono white guys and the Ians of the world, just because they're such tight players and they can work their way out of really bad situations just from supreme knowledge of their decks and the lines and other decks lines. I am kind of worried about the weird 3-color combo decks like Tivit. Because I feel like the 4-color piles, you can get everyone on board to be like, hey, watch out for Tim Necrom or whatever.
Yep.
And the Winota's same thing. Everyone knows that one's coming. Toxtrol has a pretty good matchup against Winota as long as I can get off the ground. I like playing into stacks with that deck because I'm just like, I'll just sit there and build up a really good hand and then slam Toxtrol and clear it out and hope to have the interaction for the other players who've also been sitting and building up their hands. So don't mind playing into stacks, but the Tivit and just there's like a bunch of new stuff that I'm sure I don't even know about because I've just been in like video editing mode super hard and haven't been like keeping up on all the spicy tech maybe quite as much. So I'm sure something will come out of left field. Last time a Hullin deck just completely wrecked me. So like I'm mostly worried for weird stuff like that.
Awesome. Well, I'm super psyched to see it. I'm super pumped to see who comes out on top. We'll see if it's another like bizarro one, like, oh, Magda won the whole thing. Who saw it come? Like, if it's going to be some totally out of left field shit that everybody's like, okay, well, I guess this is a threat now. It's going to be really wild. So
yeah, totally. I know. I just found all of my like this stack of dwarves that I obviously went through and pulled right after Marchesa last time.
Amazing. So many people pivoted. So many people were like, oh, we got to go all in. Like, I know I had a friend who was on Godo, who's like the Godo guy, and he was like, nope, we're throwing that all out the window. We're going all in on Magda now. Well, thanks for taking a few minutes to talk, to recap about all this, and I'll look forward to seeing you again. See you. It looks like you're heading out Thursday, so I'll see you either Thursday night late or Friday morning. So I'm super pumped about it. It's going to be awesome.
Yep. Super stoked. Super stoked.
See you there. You are out in Buffalo, and you run with a whole squad out there, the Bufftown Bullies. I got the chance to come out and meet you, visit you, hang out with you guys, and it was so cool to see basically that squad in person. Like, that was such a treat. And then the other thing that I was really excited about was kind of seeing you in person and your role as a community leader. So I want to start this off by saying thank you for being a focal point and getting people together and creating such an amazing part of the cEDH community. So in doing that, I know that you organize a lot of tournaments out there. How are you feeling about going to a tournament that somebody else is doing? Like, what are your first thoughts about, like, all right, you're going out to Oko, something that I think you just get to like show up and sling. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I'm so pumped. First and foremost, you don't got to set it up, so you don't got to worry about dealing with all that hullabaloo in the background, prize support, and who's coming and how to present it. So we're really excited for that, and I can't wait just to be able to slang, bring your quiver full of decks and just have at it for the whole weekend, not having to worry about any of the back end stuff that comes with TOing, etc.
So and you said it's going to be a bunch of you on going there. Who's all showing up? How deep are you guys rolling?
Oh, we got an Airbnb. We're rolling 7 deep. We've got the whole Bully squad. We've got Andy's coming, the Mana Bar owner.
Oh, cool.
We're grateful that he's able to come out. He's playing Toxtrol. He's ready to slang it up. Slug Gang.
Sounds like you guys are gonna have the rowdy house. I'm really excited for that. I'm gonna be at the hotel, so we'll see like how late the hangs go there. But if there needs to be an after party, we'll definitely link. Shh, don't there's you two. Don't tell anybody. But no, there's definitely no after parties. No parties at all. You guys got a whole bunch. How many people are playing in the main event itself? Do you know from your squad?
All of them. We're all playing. We've got a Toxtrol. We've got Zur, the old Zur, OG Zur.
Cool.
We've got, I don't know what Tad's playing yet. He's deciding between playing Corvold and a deck with blue in it because it's a tournament setting.
Yep.
We've got a Tim Natana, and, oh, God, I can't remember everyone's playing. I'm playing, and then Dio's playing probably Tivit.
Okay.
Which is, oh, my God, it's the hottest deck. Oh, it's so good.
Are you going to be bringing the ScoopPhase special? Is there any secret spice?
Oh, yeah.
Or if you're able to talk about it, is there any secret spice that you got running in there?
Yeah, happy to. When we ran that Krark Summit last year, 4 hours of just the whole Krark Discord talking about cards and choices, we agreed on about 90 to 92 of them. Mm-hmm. So though that 8-card difference, I've got the scoop pile. We've got cards that are just I'm playing Peak. Look at target player's hand for a blue mana. I'm paying a blue mana to look at your hand, not just Gitaxian Probe. And I think the spiciest card I'm playing is going to be Sparksmith, which I've been advocating for in more creature-heavy metas.
Okay.
It's a 2-mana goblin. Tap it. It deals X damage to target creature, where X is the number of goblins in play. And not just my goblins, every goblin.
So cool.
Backside, look out.
So it could be hitting for minimum. It's hitting for 1, which is still dope. You're blowing up dorks or whatever. Or if you've got a Krark out there, you're hitting for 2 plus however many Krarks are out there. And then if other people have goblins, you could be doming creatures for 4, 5, 6 a pop, which is wild.
I've killed a 10/10 Marwyn from the elf deck.
Wow.
I had to heat shimmer my goblin Sparksmith so I could deal 2 5s at it. It was terrifying. But I've won a lot of games with it, and it's a good choice for creature-heavy metas, too. Especially also when Noda has goblins in it as its main engine, so that also Bye.
And I mean, I love it because, like, not only is Winota fueling it, but it serves as removal. Like you said, in a creature heavy meta, so much of that stuff is stacks effects. So, like, you're going to be able to blow up your Aether Sworn Canonists or, like, whatever, like, just all that garbage. Your,
Stuff that Storm decks love to see.
yeah, those stupid Archons and shit like that. So
Absolutely.
that's really cool to be able to have that in there as an answer to all that stuff. You know, and that's not even thinking about like, oh, it blows up like people's commanders. Like that feels really good to be able to just blast commanders or, you know, put people off a win con really easily.
And you don't got to flip for it either. It's a permanent. So it's one of the, you know, safe ways to get rid of creatures without having to worry about missing a lightning bolt 7 times at the end of your turn.
It's not live by the coin, die by the coin with that one. It's just blast.
No,
started blasting. Are there other events throughout the weekend that you're excited to play in?
Oh yeah, I just saw the Pauper. I looked at the list of the side events. Pauper for sure on Sunday. We rocking that. You know, I'm pretty pumped about that. I think all the guys got Pauper decks too, so I'm pretty sure we'll be entering that as well.
That's fun. I know Cyrus is really excited about that, and because Pauper's in such a good place right now, since they put together that I can never remember the name of it, the like Pauper committee, and like a lot of people were really bummed at first because they threw out a bunch of bans and it fucked up a couple decks pretty badly. But I think since then the the format has been in such a healthy place. People have been really excited about it. So I'm interested to see how a Pauper side event goes, because I know like in the Marquesa tournament, they did it might have been a Canlander side event, I think.
Yeah.
And it was like, there were like a handful of people, you know, but I think a Pauper side event has a much higher interest level because it's just it's like so easy to just bring a stack of like 60 cards thrown in the back and you can pick it up pretty easy as well. I'm excited to see people playing in side events and banging out all weekend. And speaking of, you said a whole bunch of decks. Do you have the one deck, the one that counts?
Oh, we're bringing it. Oh, I got a war, Brothers War coming, and that is Pile Card Nation. I'm bringing the pile. It's going to be a good old time. Please stop by. You don't know the pile, watch the video, check it out, and then I want to play the pile with y'all.
All weekend. For those who don't know, it's like a 600 card pile where everybody draws from the same deck and you got an infinite mana and you just got to bang out on each other with big flashy spells. It's a really cool game of kind of like checks and balances and attrition because there's removal and counter spells and then just big beaters. And it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So I think I would be shocked if that thing's not firing like all weekend.
I'm bringing it. I can't wait. Yeah, that's super exciting. And there's a lot of cards. Even though Krark doesn't get a lot of cards, the pile gets a ton of cards.
It's just every set. There's like whatever is at the top end of like the highest nonsense goes in there. What was the one I saw? There was one that was like for all the permanents you have on the field, you flip cards until you flip that many more permanents.
Over the top.
That's like a easy. That's like if there's ever been a pile card, over the top is like right there. So I'm really excited to see it. Well, thank you so much for taking a few, Scoop. Any closing thoughts, or just kind of where your head's at for the event?
Oh, I'm ready. I've got the Thursday off, and I'm driving, so that's going to be fun. And please, like these events, I don't know anybody basically unless I met you in person or I've made some dumbass joke on Twitter. So please come and talk to me. I'm here for y'all.
Yeah, you gotta introduce yourself with your Twitter. Like, have a name tag with the Twitter name on it. Yeah, right. So, like, nobody ain't gonna know who you are. It's a question of like other people. Like, if you're gonna introduce yourself to people at an event, like, don't just be like, "Hey, I'm Alan." Like, I did that at an event recently, and then the next person, I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm Alan. I stream under Mental Misplay," and they were like, "I know who you are." And I was like, I totally biffed it as far as like introducing myself with the correct moniker. The one more thing I did want to ask you. So you've been playing Krark Saka for like forever. You talked about the Krark Summit a little bit and how you guys really go deep into card evaluation. Is there anything particular you either do or have been doing to prep for a tournament like this? Like, do you just play like, do you just jam comp REL games and just play like, you know, no gravity chamber, no mistakes or are there specific things that you do to prep for an event like this?
Well, at Friday Night Magic, we have our own cEDH table, so we're always mixing it up, you know, making sure everyone's properly matched. And I'm writing down my opening hands. I've got my spreadsheet here. I'm typing it up. I'm, you know, documenting everything. And a lot of the new ways of thinking about the deck too. I've been slowing down a lot, trying to go off immediately versus kind of let's let somebody else have some fun and then jam in right after. So I've definitely slowed down my play, and it's been working out. I've got a pretty good record out of the 50 games I have recorded.
Oh, awesome. So you're not of the push immediately, like get Krark Saka down ASAP. You're playing a little more on the back foot, letting somebody else push first and then kind of stopping them and getting in there after the fact. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't think I've cast Sakashima unless I was going off that turn. So it's really
cool.
not like Sakashima's like, please counter it. Please counter it. Oh my goodness. Please counter it. Because it hasn't been that integral in my wins so far.
Oh, interesting.
And changing my play around.
That's super interesting to hear because I know for the longest time it was like reliant on both of them. And that's really is like your weak interaction point is when you're casting Sakashima, somebody's going to come in there and be like, bah, blow up Krark. And then your game plan is, you know, out the window. So that's cool to hear that you've been playing, if not a little more mid-range, then at least a little more reactive, like sitting back, letting the game letting you figure out exactly what kind of game it's going to be before you pivot to a specific plan. And I know like that's something that people talk about with like Blue Farm a lot. Some people like swear like, oh, Blue Farm, like you just jam Nas as fast as possible. But really the deck isn't made to do that. It's made to play depending on what the pod is. You can jam it fast, or you can sit back and play a really crazy mid-range game or a control game. Like you can really approach it in different ways, and the important thing is to approach it in different ways depending on what the pod is doing and what the threats are and stuff. So it's really cool to learn that Krark Saka is doing that as well. And that's, you know, an earmark of the best decks is that they are able to adapt to any specific situation. So I'm really cool to hear that you are taking that route.
Oh yeah, and mulligan. Oh my god, mulligan those hands. Don't keep those greedy hands.
Yep.
I've kept them and I've gotten beat over the head. Sleepless nights of why did you keep that hand, that one mana Mystic Grimoire hand going forth? Never again. Never again. Don't do it.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Don't be greedy with those hands. Go just mull till you get something that's viable. Well, thank you so much, Scoop. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited to hang out with you and the bullies. Have you guys blow the mic out again? And just yelling. Yeah, just as soon as I saw you guys, all the levels spiked. So I'm super pumped about it. Travel safely, and I'll see you in like a week and a half.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Alan. See you in a little bit.
We've got Rebel Son, a longtime friend and sometimes collaborator. How you doing?
I know only sometimes, but you wish it was more time.
Oh, 100%. I'm like always on your ass about it. Like, hey, you want to do like a project together? And you're like, maybe next time.
Nah, I have dinner to eat.
Yeah,
I have dinner to eat and then Netflix shows to watch.
Yo, we all do, right? Let's not start talking about Netflix shows. There's too many of them. But we're here to pick your brain a little bit about Oko and kind of what you're planning on doing, what the story is. So you're going to another event first and then basically turning around immediately and going to Oko. So that's also really fun. It's like the immediate traveling. What are you focused on? So you're going to Okotoberfest. Are you playing in the main event?
I think so. So far, the last time I checked, it's a yes.
Oh, okay. All right. And how do you feel? Do you know what deck you're playing? Are you able to talk about that? If you're like not even sure if you're playing, then you're probably definitely not sure what deck you're playing. But any hints for us, or are you gonna keep it secret?
I'm pretty sure I'm playing Timna Crom, but what technology exists in that Timna Crom? Who knows? All
right, that's solid. So that's always the follow-up question is like, okay, Timna Crom is like, is that going to be your standard Blue Farm list, or is it going to be like is there allspice, or is it just gobbledygook? Like, and from you, I would only expect like wildly off meta, like something that's just not where we're usually at.
It's not just spice, it's like the Old Bay of spice.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to see it and see how it does. And, I'll be running up on you with the mic to talk about that. Like, oh, how are your standings and all that? Are you interested in any of like the side events or any of that sort of stuff? I know that they announced Pauper for day 3 or day 2, whatever. They announced Sunday there's going to be a Pauper side event. Was there anything else you were excited to do while you were there?
I didn't know there were side effects.
Yeah, there's side events. Yep. There's
But I'll play Popper.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be Pauper. I'm maybe going to try to run my cube as a side event if I can get that together, but it's unclear whether that might happen or not. And then it looks like me and you are going to be participating in a panel as well about like Commander community and community building and D&I stuff within the community and all that. I know that from the beginning of your journey in Commander, and definitely like kind of the parallel tracks we've taken, something you've always expressed interest in is, along with gameplay, is specifically community building. So I'm very excited to hear more thoughts on that, and especially, you are always writing stuff that's like very well thought out and all that. So I'm excited to see it off the cuff. The live talking is very different.
I'm always waving a flag.
Yeah, for sure. It's just knowing the work that you've done, like to get cEDH nights going in Brooklyn at Sip and Play, or just the other pieces of community you've built. I'm sure that you're going to have all sorts of cool insights.
I hope so. It'll be my second panel too.
I don't have too much like more to ask. Basically, like what you're most excited about as far as going to Okotober. Like, is it specifically to go and play the main event, or are you excited just to hang out with a bunch of cEDH nerds? Where's your head at as far as like what you're looking to get out of it as an event?
I would say it's both. You know how competitive I get, so it's I'm trying not to think about it too much, where I'm trying not to psych myself out, but definitely participating in the main event and seeing how my Old Bay spice, maybe I should change the name, Old Bay Farm. I want to see how that's gonna do. I haven't played cEDH in like a while. Like, I think since Marquesa, I've played cEDH like 10 times.
Just a few times, right?
Maybe 15 times. Like, I played a lot when I was in LA for that 1 week, and then I played a couple games, with Prof.
I think I got a game in with you at SIP, like 1 or 2 games. You were on Gale Scion.
Yeah. So that was already like 15% of all the games I played.
It was like 4 in a row, and you were like, all right, we're good here.
Yeah, we're good. I guess I'm just curious, me playing the other formats and having a lot more thinking and experience from that stuff. I want to see if that pays off for this event. It did when I was in LA. I think while I was playing my Merfolk deck, and it really paid off there. But I'm just curious. I haven't played cEDH in so long. I think I started listening to some people, like how they talk about the game, and then some of the play patterns they have, and I'm like, I didn't think about that. So I haven't played it like enough to learn some of the new, like, I don't know, technology, as some would say.
I was talking with Scoop earlier. Scoop's one of the other people who's in this video, and Scoop is a big Krark-Saka advocate, and we'll be playing Krark-Saka. And he was saying amazing stuff about how he's starting to approach Krark-Saka the way you were approaching. And I made the connection. He didn't say, I'm trying to play it like Rebell plays Blue Farm, but it was the same fucking words. It was the exact same, like, I'm not trying to jam I'm not trying to jam Sakashima immediately. Like, so many people think like, all right, get 1 down, get 2 down, and you win. But he said he's playing it more reactively. He's playing Saka only as a winning turn strategy. And I was so impressed by that. And it really reminded me of the way you spoke about going through your learning curve with Blue Farm and learning that it's not a deck where you just jam Adnos immediately. You not only play according to what and how everybody's playing, but you mulligan according to what and how everybody's playing. Like you even as a pregame action, you are deciding how you're going to approach that gameplay. Is that something you still kind of like think about as far as your approach to the game?
Yeah, I mean, like that stuff is still the same. So the mulligan decision part, I don't think has changed that much. Maybe there's some cards here and there or some lines I might not see anymore because I just don't think about the technology. That's the new word of the day. That other people might have. I forgot what it was. I saw someone who said something really cool about dress down. And I was like, wow, I never thought about using dress down that way, but I have to go find. I love dress down. Dress down's so good. If there's someone at Sip and Play, Evan One from my Evans
Yep.
competitive team. Evan One, his favorite thing, I call this the Evan special, and I was joking in the Sip and Play Discord that no matter how loud it gets, I can always hear from any corner of the room when Evan One says, "Enter your end step." Flashing a dress down because the signature Evan one play is enter your end step, flash a dress down on his turn, play a 3 fairy, and bounce the dress down back to his hand. So you've drawn the card off of dress down, you get a card off 3 fairy, and now you have dress down again to play it. That's his signature move. So there's so much cool stuff you can do with dress down. But yeah, I think like that the mulligans and the like other to me more basic stuff is like still the same. But slightly concerned that there just might be like some lines that players have developed over like the course of the many games over summer
Yep.
that I might not know as well. But we'll see. We'll see.
That leads into the next question, which is: are there particular decks or players who you're going to be watching out for? Who are your favorites for the competition, both players and decks?
I'm assuming that we're going to be seeing Ian top 16, top 4, right? There are certain players who's always just gonna like make those cuts.
I'm not sure if Ian is only commentating or playing or what. I don't know exactly what Ian's role is, so we may not even see Ian in the seat.
It's just like me. We don't even know what we're doing.
It's very, very unclear. So we
Yeah.
may see Ian in the commentary seat. But I would expect to see Ian top 16 at the very, very least if he is playing. I know that there's like the people are big on what Tivit and Tevit, is it? Tivit and Timesiv. I would not be surprised to see Timesiv dominating on people this because it's like an easy mid-range strategy and leads into really like clear play patterns. I think that we could really see more people doing Timesiv stuff. But yeah,
dude, like I don't know what that deck does. Okay, I know what Tivit does. Like I know how Tivit gets there, but like it's like if you ask me after all these years of playing against Anton, playing against like the 99, how does Teshar work? When should you be scared of Teshar? I can't tell you. Like there's certain decks. I mean, that one in particular to me is a little harder, like especially hard to tell when is like extra scary time. But Tivit is like, I generally know how like a time sieve deck works, but I don't know when is like critical mass time or like they're showing they have like the clear signs that they're gonna go for it or like win afterwards. So like if you play against a farm deck or an ad nauseum deck, right? When you see double black. Or you're reading like if there's a ancient tomb and one black source, and for some reason they keep leaving the 2 lands open, like you're like, okay, there's an ad nauseum, right? Like there's those very clear signs you learn, but I don't know what the hell what's the equivalent for Tivit, right?
Yeah.
Is this a bunch of artifacts? Is it? Who knows?
Tivit just slams down, and you're just like, I'm either gonna get beat to death or comboed on, and I have no clue how to differentiate the two.
Like I don't know, like that kind of stuff. I think will definitely show up a little bit based my only experience so far on events this year or most recent events still Marchesa, and our experience, you were there too, was a lot of like Blue Farm, a lot of Cody. Every single game I had like at least 2 wheels or 3 wheels on like by turn 4, so in my experience that's still how I'm thinking, like we're what we'll be seeing. There might be a higher density of like there's still going to be Winodas, still going to probably always going to be Winodas. There might be a little bit more stacks.
I think a lot of Malcolm.
Oh yeah,
Malcolm
Teamer Malcolm.
Teamer Malcolm is like no one needs to deal with it. I remember seeing you would have cried seeing Josh Elder Drunken Highlander at tier 1 bamboozle the table with Glinthorn. It was insane. Dude fully bluffed the table, was like, I'm out of the game. I started doodling on a notepad, like really, really hammed it up to the table. And then they passed to him and he just done one on the spot. But pushed the I'm out, like to the point was like looking around and stuff. It was crazy. So I'm so wary of that as a deck for sure. But I'm interested to see, as always, what play patterns people bring in as well. Like if people are going to be going like it's all rules, or if people will be leaning heavily into politics, because that's something that came up a lot in tier 1 as well, was like every single play, like you had to be ready to defend every single play you made. And I'm psyched to see if that's something that people are doing, or if it's all just going to be like no talking.
I mean, we'll see. Politics is always such a interesting thing to me. I think especially as a content creator, because sometimes I get really, really guilty when someone listens to me too much, right? Like I'm not even trying to like politic or like, leverage my position as like a YouTuber or whatever to like get a couple percentages here and there and win the game or bamboozle the table, because I just feel like that's morally incorrect, right? But sometimes like I might say something like I'm just legitimately concerned or I don't have full information, right? And I'll just say something like, oh, I'm really worried about that. We're really worried about that, and people will be like, oh yeah, and I'm like, wait. That's my opinion. Like, do your own thinking too. Like, don't listen to like everything I say, right? Because I'm your opponent. So politics is just such an interesting part. And I think any like event grinder, and I'm not like a grinder to the degree like Ian is, because Ian's a beast, but I've played enough events and play enough against like a diverse enough like opponents that I have a pretty good skill set for dealing with politics. So yeah, it's just such an interesting aspect of this game. I think we'll have to see how like the, I guess, American meta works out with politicking, because there are certain players, like there are new like grinders playing cEDH, right? And just like the newer, just a newer group who's playing that where they could politic, but I think there is also a desire to like, just play more not face up, but like be a little bit more direct, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see like what play style gets adopted more as we see more content, as we see them participate more. Maybe they'll bamboozle more. Who knows, right? It could swing either way, but I think there's definitely I think there'll be a meta sort of something that develops. It's definitely a skill you have to practice though. Like there's so many learnings. I'm pretty sure you have them as well, where you play against people like Deco or like Sinestra especially, or like then you have some other super like 7D chess like politickers who will then like politic against themselves or whatever, and you're like, guy, what are you doing? Can you just like play the game? So it's just like learning all those different nuances as part of your skill set is like pretty important.
Learning the players as well as the decks is something that's really important, especially in a game or in a meta that's so small, so tight. So I think because there's going to be so many people who are bastions and pioneers of the format, like it's gonna be like, okay, I'm in a pod with this person, I know to like watch out for them doing this, that sort of stuff. So that will be really interesting. And yeah, because there are, like you said, new players who are coming in from other formats, they may not have that knowledge base of like having played with fucking Into the North for the last 5 years or whatever. Like they might not know what Six getting up to. So I'm really interested to see how that falls out as well. But I am really excited. That's a solid chunk of cEDH talk. That's definitely probably the most you've talked about cEDH in a hot minute, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Rebell, for taking a few minutes. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to tearing it up with you all weekend.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to you and hang out.
All right. We'll see you there.
Bye.
There you have it. That's interviews with 3 amazing people who are going to be involved with Okotoberfest. I'm really excited to be there and to show you everything that we can do. If you're going to be there, like I said, leave a comment, and if you're there in person, say hey. And until then, just be safe out there. Thanks again, guys.